There it goes.
All right. So
Starting the day with some percussive maintenance. Always a bright feather in the cap.
Right. So, good morning.
What's wrong?
Oh yeah, 5x5 now. Good morning.
Of course,
Steve.
it's 5x5 now. I hit it. Things work when I hit them.
Good morning, Somatic Dust. Fantastic name, by the way.
Oh yeah, I just reread Brave New World, and yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good book, but has such a sad ending. But could it end any other way? Anyhow.
And Somatic Dust, you're absolutely right. CNN's entire staff should be fired. And on that note, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a video of Brian Stetler talking about being called an androgynous potato head, where somebody has basically gone in with After Effects and tracked on the potato head pieces to his face, and it's outstanding.
People are so mean to me. Anyhow, good morning, Krista. Good morning, Jamie.
I'd like to get under his skin and get some of that nuisance money. Because apparently nuisance money is a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to have like 1/10 of that nuisance money. Like, good grief, man. Like, I'm pay some bills with that kind of cash, right? So just to let you
find some new ones.
Just to let you, our beautiful viewers, know, we're totally going to talk about the absolute piece of shit that has taken over Twitter, but we're gonna throw that into tomorrow. It is WTF CNN, so we're going to discuss specifically CNN and Cuomo's, but please believe we're tracking on the fact that it took 24 hours and suddenly you miss Jack Dorsey. Right? Who would have thought that was even possible? And yet here we are.
Is there anything in my beard?
Okay, but so now the ballad of Governor Barbells and his brother Fredo continues.
So.
Hey, I thought of another one this morning. It's Handsy and Mouthy.
Handsy and Mouthy. Oh, my God. Okay. So what happened was... Oh, God. I don't even know what order I want to do these in. Let me just start with this.
The obvious one.
Hey, look at that. This article was written by the potato head himself. So CNN suspends Chris Cuomo indefinitely. I also get a chuckle out of this. They suspended him indefinitely. They haven't fired him yet.
But they suspended Jeffrey Tubin indefinitely. And he came back.
Until they didn't.
Exactly. Well, indefinitely does not mean forever. It means indefinitely. Subtle, subtle but huge difference.
And part of the narrative there is, well, he got caught. He accidentally got himself caught masturbating on camera. He didn't realize the camera was on. He wasn't accidentally masturbating in the middle of a staff conference. Right? That wasn't the mistake. Right? He was doing that deliberately. Unless he's the dude from frickin' Sons of Anarchy that had to have his thumbs cut off. That was totally voluntary.
Yeah, look, have you ever seen the interview where he gets to come back to work and he sits down with Allison Camerata and they talk about it?
No.
It's one of those things that's
and of course you sit him down with a woman to have that conversation. That's priceless.
Sit him down with a hot woman too, no less. Like one of the only attractive anchors CNN has, right?
Are you having a hard time not touching yourself now?
No. They actually... You know what made it worse is they actually had a completely mature discussion about it. And
I'm sure
somehow
they did.
That made it all the cringe. like really. Like you could tell she wanted to be like, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, you couldn't wait for the meeting to be over? Like, have you sought therapy for this? Like, there's a reason why people
Hey, George is with us this morning. Good morning, sunshine. Hey, and since George is with us this morning, I'll tease a little something that's going to happen in the not too distant, hopefully, there's a little bit of a dust-up going on in Rockdale County right now about the failure to disable the. This is a funny little thing, but it's not a little thing because it speaks to fraud, waste, and abuse. Even on days that school is not in session, the flashing signs that say 25-mile-an-hour school zone during school hours still flash. And it seems like a small thing, except you have to remember, there are dozens of schools with those signs in the county. And if they're all flashing when they don't need to be, every time they don't need to be flashing, that's money that's being spent. Oh, well, it's not a lot of money. No, but it's one of those little drops in the bucket, right? If you can't make the rent at the end of the month, and you have a subscription to every single streaming service, yeah, any given one of them might only be $10, but they add up to a problem.
But your streaming services combined, I am Captain Cable.
By your streaming services combined, I am Captain Eviction Notice. Good luck, kids. So let's actually get back into this. Oliver Darcy and Brian Stetler. Wow.
Couple of mental titans there. You know, between both of them.
And Dad points out something that absolutely you're right. It's, cannot attribute to incompetence what can clearly be explained by malice. Because, of course, while those signs are flashing, even if there's not school in session, if the signs are flashing, you can get pulled over and hello, revenue collection, because that is basically the only thing cops are good for anymore.
Oh, please believe I go 25. I see that light flashing. Like last week.
Yeah, I don't play that game.
Like last week was Thanksgiving break, and I knew it was Thanksgiving break. Mm-hmm. But flashing lights. I'm slowing down. I am slowing down because I don't need a ticket for something stupid.
Right.
Even if it's somebody else's stupid, and I still don't need a ticket. And let's not forget,
it's an elevated ticket.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, you get one in a school zone, and that's maximum fines.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
Because think of the children. Think of the children, Chris. Oh, Alex.
Oh, speaking of the children, let's get back into the elderly murder capital of the world, New York City, and what's going on there. CNN is suspending the primetime anchor Chris Cuomo indefinitely pending further evaluation after new documents revealed the cozy and improper nature of his relationship with aides to his brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I see what you did there.
The benched anchorman is declining to comment. Of course he's declining to comment. Do you know why he's declining to comment? Because his lawyer said, shut up. Shut the front door, son. Shut the front door. A second hour of Anderson Cooper 360 will air in Cuomo's place on Tuesday. Let's not forget, okay.
Shouldn't that be 720?
Wasn't Cuomo the one that said, now it's okay for us in the media to have these documents. It's illegal for you.
I think
but
that
it's
was
different
Cuomo.
for us. It was Cuomo.
I think that was Cuomo. But if it's look, seriously, I'm gonna punch that math joke again. If it's a second hour, shouldn't it be Anderson Cooper 720?
Anderson Cooper should never be delivered at anything greater than 720p because he's just not worth the bandwidth.
Apparently, there's like I got it. But apparently, there's like a subcategory of women that actually think Anderson Cooper's hot. Like they're aware of the fact that he's gay, and that it's never going to happen, but they think that he's hot.
Yeah, they're called trans women. Tuesday's announcement about the suspension was the equivalent of a cable news shockwave. No, it wasn't. Cuomo's 9 p.m. program is frequently CNN's most watched hour of the day, and both of his viewers were disappointed. He has a larger-than-life presence at the network. And he was determined to stay on TV this year despite a flurry of sexual misconduct allegations against his brother, which culminated in the governor's resignation 3 months ago. There we go. Excuse me. Sexual misconduct allegations against his brother, for which, by the way, there are criminal referrals. And I want you to understand this. Don't ever forget this. There is only one reason that high-profile sexual misconduct allegations are made. Because it is always because there is something else that is either harder to prove or needs to be distracted from. Sexual misconduct allegations at a high level are almost always overblown, absurd, or outright false. Think Kavanaugh. Think
Clarence Thomas.
Think Clarence Thomas. Think damn it, the big black guy that ran for president.
Herman Cain.
Herman Cain. Good God. I kept wanting to say Hank something. Hell, think Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, but I think Harvey Weinstein's probably guilty as shit.
Of engaging in prostitution with voluntary prostitutes.
It doesn't mean he didn't commit sexual harassment. There is a...
No, but harassment is not what he was accused of. Well, what he was accused of was tantamount to rape. But what he apparently did was engaged in voluntary prostitution with willing prostitutes. Anyhow. Yes, Black Widow, I'm talking about you.
Anyhow.
The New York Attorney General's office released transcripts and exhibits Monday that shed new light on Chris Cuomo's involvement in his brother's defense. A CNN spokesperson said Tuesday evening the documents which we were not privy to before their public release raised serious questions. When Chris admitted to us that he had offered advice to his
He'd offered advice to his brother's staff. He broke our rules. And we acknowledge that publicly, the spokesperson concluded. But we also appreciate the unique position he was in and understood his need to put his family first and his job second. However, these documents point to a greater level of involvement in his brother's efforts than we previously knew, the spokesperson said. As a result, we have suspended Chris indefinitely pending further evaluation. The suspension came after significant criticism from people who noted that Chris Cuomo had violated widely accepted journalistic norms. Inside, CNN staffers expressed dismay about the anchor's conduct. Charlotte Bennett, a former aide to Andrew Cuomo, who came forward in February to accuse him of sexual harassment, called for CNN to immediately take action.
Anything short of firing Chris Cuomo reflects a network lacking both morals and a backbone, Bennett said in a tweet Tuesday. And, well...
CNN.
Look at that. They went just short of firing him. Isn't that adorable? The Cuomo primetime team. Go ahead.
I just was going to say, how bad do you have to screw up at CNN for you to be the reason why they're questioning CNN's ethics? And of all things, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, who's surprised by this? I've got two brothers, and I might be willing to engage in some seriously unethical behavior on their behalf. Because, they're my brothers. Right?
Well, yeah, certainly. If my baby brother were to call me and tell me he needed to hide a body, I wouldn't ask him why.
Might ask him how much lie he had.
I mean... Not over the phone, I wouldn't.
Prank caller!
Prank caller! Call the burner.
Wait, are you talking about drug shit on the cell phone? Prank caller!
The Cuomo primetime team had been planning for Tuesday's broadcast up until the announcement of Cuomo's suspension. A person familiar with the matter said, I hate that, a person familiar with the matter. Sprout a sack! Put your name on shit! Cooper's team was also blindsided by the news. No, he wasn't. And left scrambling to fill the extra hour. He wasn't left scrambling to fill the hour because he was blindsided by the news. He's left scrambling to fill every hour he's on screen because making up that many lies is difficult. It's time-consuming. It's intellectually rigorous work for which he is ill-armed. After the news was made public, an emotional Chris Cuomo met with the show's staff. The documents released by New York Attorney General Letitia James, and wow, there's a sack of shit.
Yeah, but that's...
included text messages and transcripts of interviews with investigators who led the probe into allegations against the governor. And again, you know what? That's enough. Chris Cuomo's been suspended. We don't need to know anything else about why he was suspended. Let's talk about why the controversy exists. New York Times. Nearly 1/3 of U.S. coronavirus deaths are linked to nursing homes. This article is updated June 1st, 2021, and I pulled it from the archive. I pulled it from the archive to get the numbers on it. The original article was published in June of 2020 and listed the number as 43%.
Uh-huh.
The thing that has changed to alter that percent is that they changed the policy on basically chaining up sick old people with not yet sick old people so that they would all get sick together. So fewer of the old people have been sent with their sickness back to the poor old people that aren't able to defend themselves against the coof.
Well, look, let's just back up a second, okay? If it was just sick old people being thrown in with not sick old people, that would be one thing and would be egregious enough on its own merit. But we're talking about sick, not old people.
Oh yeah,
being sent to nursing homes.
We all saw that video of the guy, the like 25 mid-20 something guy that for whatever reason had the coof and was sent to a nursing home. And forget all the people who died because he took his disease in there for them to catch. He beat a man to death. We saw that video. You didn't see that one?
I didn't see the video. I'm familiar with the incident that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Alex says it can only be harassment if you're rejected and persist. No. By definition, it should only be harassment if you're rejected and persist. But that is not how the word is used. And even so far as to how the word is used in, I don't want to say legal proceedings at this point, how it's used in character assassinations. People are fired over, he looked at me funny.
And look, man, and I feel like I at least have to touch on this, even though it has the possibility of just completely rabbit holing us for the rest of the episode. If men quit the first time a woman told them no, the human race would go extinct.
And demography points out, women come to work in high heels and a little cleavage action going on. What's the actual purpose of dressing like that other than to attract men? I'm going to take that a step further. You're right. You're right to ask that question, demography. But I'm going to take that just a step further. Okay, Steve says to attract a lawsuit, I'd expect. But I got you one better. How about dressing inappropriately at work should be an infraction on its own? Either that, or when you get what you clearly want, you don't get to complain about it. And I'm not saying that showing up in a short skirt and some cleavage means that you deserve to get raped in the alleyway. But
if somebody says, you look pretty,
hey, you look very nice today, you look pretty today, or even, hey, how would you like to get a cup of coffee, right? That is literally what you're asking for. 100%. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, but as Steve points out, and I like how you circumnavigated that rabbit hole. That was fantastic. But as Steve points out, reaching inside a coworker's sweater is somewhat frowned upon. Yeah, there's definitely a line there. What's the thing? I'm not going to describe to you pornography, but you'll know it when you see it. Like there is a point.
Well, in the Army, when we're doing a PT test, we'll say, push-ups are like porno. You know it when you see it.
That is
because bad push-ups don't count.
Okay, that's not the. I tried so hard to let all of those jokes go so that I could keep marching on. Okay, nope. That's it. You blew it up right there. Oh yeah. The Chris Cuomo and actual sexual harassment. Well, I do think it's fair to point out that there is a line at which normal human interaction is being suppressed. Again, right. Going back to my normal thing, like I don't know if you people have noticed, but sometimes women are funny and they say yes when they mean no and no when they mean yes. And that doesn't mean it's okay to hurt a woman. There's just a lot of subtlety there in human interaction that is very complex and requires a lot of communication and even experience to work through.
That's for you, Sergeant Major, because I know. And I'm not even going to explain it. I'm going to leave your one.
No, I think if you watch the whole show in context, it makes sense and it's funny. Okay? But then there's what Cuomo did, which is where he's like, how you doing, baby? And like, instead of like starting with the cup of coffee, he just goes straight to the grabby. Mm-hmm. That's not okay. But then,
it's like, hey, that's a lovely configuration you're wearing today.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Would you like to get some coffee?
Oh. Now, but here's the other side of this.
Sorry.
Though. Here's the other side of this, though. Okay, and this is give me just a little bit of room to set this up. I would argue that there are more people in power, and not just men, people in power, that have got some kind of sexual skeleton in the closet, right? Something, at least. Like, I would say, like, you could just put a bunch of them in a room and, like, throw a rock, and you'd probably hit somebody, right?
Is that because psychopathy and narcissism are basic requirements for Democrat Party?
This actually takes your theory and expands it a little bit. Why now with Cuomo? Well, because, you know, magicians... That's right. Welcome to the BFM, where sexual harasses you. Anyhow. Is it possible... Okay, I can put this together. All right, I'm going to close my eyes and not read the comments so I can do this. All right. Is it possible that this is almost like a plant type of situation? We discussed before about how, like, some of the stuff with Donald Trump was obviously overblown because what he was talking about was the fact that he had groupies. And there is a subsection of women out there in the world that would love to get pregnant by Donald Trump because then they don't have to work for the next 20 years. And if they play their cards right, they get to retire rich and have a pretty baby, right? So I'm not saying that this woman from Cuomo was necessarily asking for it, but is it at least conceivable that these sorts of people come into the orbit of the rich and powerful and then make themselves available to potentially be sexually harassed so that later on, when it's convenient... Because it's a funny thing. I understand that people can be sexually abused and sit on it for days, weeks, months, years before they talk about it. Because it's a very traumatic thing to go through. But it's also a funny thing that it always seems to be at a particular point in time when it's very important that these sexual allegations come out. And unfortunately, because of the pattern of the way sexual allegations come out, it makes them difficult to believe. Like, I never believed the stuff about Brett Kavanaugh. Like, ever. Like, I tried to suspend disbelief, and then I heard Dr. Ford just...
Oh, my God.
talk like a Barbie doll.
And her constant pretty pose.
I know, right? I was afraid to fly here, but I totally had no problem flying to the Bahamas or wherever it was. So when you lump all those things together, it makes it easy to be suspicious of these types of allegations generally. How hard would it be? Maybe this woman wanted to come forward months ago and they said, nah, honey, shut up. Or she was known and it's like... Ooh, that Cuomo guy, he's stepped in it. Honey, now's the time for you to come forward.
That seems much more likely. And let's not forget, with Andrew, we're talking about multiple accusers. Right? Multiple accusers making credible accusations with evidence. What we are not talking about is the creepy porn lawyer coming forward to represent anonymous clients who turned out to be 4chan hucksters.
Dear everybody, 4chan is a thing.
And it will kill you. If you have never studied weaponized autism, do yourselves a favor. Hell, go watch our top 10 uses of weaponized autism video from last summer. In fact, while Cameron's talking, I'm going to go ahead and drop you a link to that one because, buddy, I had a blast putting that one together. It's not one of our best. It's not one of our best quality videos. No, it's high quality. I could be happier with it, but it is solid.
So on Demography Now, with a clown emoji in his name, yeah. Oh, no, Alex, let me clarify. Oh, I see what he's doing. There's Cumho, not Cuomo. That's hilarious. He wasn't suspended for harassment. No. Chris Fredo, the mouthy of the pair, Mouthy was suspended for witness tampering. Yes, absolutely. But Hansy had to resign for sexual harassment. And that's the difference between the two things that I was talking about there. As far as somebody picking the right time to take Mouthy down, the media doesn't ever want to see one of their own go down, like ever. It's why
Correct.
It's why Don Lemon still has a job, even though he rather aggressively tried to go down.
Yeah, I mean, Don Lemon is facing some very serious charges over his alleged sexual assault.
And look, CNN knew this was going on with Chris, okay? Like, they knew it. The only reason something happened is it got to a point to where, like, other news networks were going to start being able to go, oh, woo-woo, CNN. And so they had to suspend him. Otherwise, they were going to leave themselves exposed. I was talking about people in positions of actual power. It'd be like, I don't know. It would just be a thing. When you've got some people that already appear to be sexual deviants and absolute psychopaths, you throw a... Look, it's dark as hell, but you throw a few 16-year-olds at them.
Oh, no, I was laughing at Alex. Ahmad is balls deep in the Maxwell indictment. I bet she is.
And then
Lord knows every streaming service is. Every major brand you can think of is listed as a co-conspirator in that indictment.
Well, even that's a thing. Like, now, you could never throw enough 16-year-olds at me to force me to compromise myself, right? But I'm also not a total psychopath, just to be clear.
Right.
But at the same time, what if you threw a bunch of 16-year-olds at powerful people, didn't tell them they were 16?
Right.
Okay. Then got compromising pictures, whatever, of them. And again, I'm not saying that this woman that's accusing Cuomo of harassment is lying or anything like that. It's just, unfortunately, going all the way back to the pubic hair on the Coke can with Clarence Thomas. Like, that's what that whole thing revolved around. That somehow he put a pubic hair on a Coke can, and that was his master plan to sexually harass somebody.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's brilliant.
Yes, that's brilliant. So when you put all those things together and you look at like, it's the people in the media like Don Lemon and Jeffrey Toobin that actually seem to have some really sexual deviant problems. And then on the other side, the people that accuse the guys on our side, like, Herman Cain and even though I know we're not the biggest fan of Brett Kavanaugh, but like, dude's not a gang rapist.
No.
Okay, that was never a credible accusation.
No, my only problem with Brett Kavanaugh is he's a weak bitch.
Right, but that was never a strong accusation. Anyhow, I hope I hope it's coming through that it's like I just can't help but have this extra layer of suspicion on top of all the other layers of suspicion when things like this happen, because it's like, why did you decide now was the time to take down the governor of New York, especially now that he's not even the governor of New York anymore? Like, you win, he's out of power, and I just can't help it. Like, the older I get, the more right Alex Jones seems. Because, I mean, Epstein didn't kill himself.
We really should fashion some elaborate and complex tinfoil hats and just keep them on hand to don on occasion to make the point.
Anyhow, but look, CNN knew this was going on. They knew it. They absolutely knew it. The only reason they suspended Cuomo is they had no choice whatsoever. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Let's I think that's all we've got today. And my camera
Demography now
fingers
says he didn't know the camera was still on. That's not even...
No, but he knew he was rubbing himself.
Yeah, look, that's not even like in my top 3 reasons of why I'm like, yeah, but dude, wait a minute. Like, number 1 is, dude, you're at work.
Yeah. I've never been at work and asked myself, I wonder if anybody had noticed if I just rubbed one out. Is anybody looking?
Let's just, hey, Chris, look that way. I'm going to open up a porn window on one of these monitors here.
Yeah, negative. All right. Well, y'all be safe out there, and we will see you tomorrow. Before I demography. By the way, your engagement has been fantastic.
Thanks.
If you're not already subscribed, please do. We'd love to see you back in the chat because
your engagement has been awesome.
The highly engaged chat really helps the show develop, and we appreciate that enormously. So be sure to join us, especially on Fridays when we do Firearms Friday. And we will see you tomorrow. Y'all be safe out there.